retirement, which was a smart thing to do. That money has grown. And now, when I realize I'm not an apartment person, we're starting to look for a home. Even though home prices have gone up, we're going to be able to buy a home that's going to meet our needs because we have more money now than we did when we sold our home.
That will allow us to achieve the things we like in terms of entertainment, having family over, and Crash Proof has enabled us to be able to make that jump when we desire to do it. The money is available.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show with Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman today at 11 a.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Tom Azelby. On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Welcome to the Tom Azelby Show here on Philadelphia 1210 WPHT every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. That's where I will be. I'll be here in Philadelphia, 1210 WPHT. Producing Jared Clapper today. Jared, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Tom. Top of the morning to you.
Good. Your volume's a little low, so we're going to do our technical things in front of the audience because I'm so untechnical. But anyway, this weekend, you got the weekend crew, Phil Omquist. His show is every Saturday night, 11 to 1. This week in music history, you got Barry Sable and friends every Sunday at 10 a.m. You should be listening tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I'm going to give you headlines around the world. It's summer. I know people start, they don't pay much attention or don't pay as much attention to what's going on in the world. So I'll be rapid fire with you here. Venezuela, they had 2 earthquakes. Trump hit Iran again. They're like a cancer. It's going to be immunotherapy on them forever. Don't expect a quick thing. It's a 47-year-old problem. It's going to take a while, but I think he's doing the right thing. You got Ebola in the Congo. What I found interesting is these health workers and aid workers, they're getting attacked as they're trying to bury these bodies to stop the spread. They get attacked because there's a lot of rumors in that part of the world, in Africa, where they believe this is intentional. There's just a lot of bad beliefs over there, and people get scared, and when people get scared, they do awful things. Thought this was interesting this morning. A small plane crashed into the tallest tower in Beijing, China. Of course, it was a small plane. It went off its path and crashed into one of the top floors, killed the pilot, hurt about 13 people. Of course, China shut down any news on it because that's how they operate. These are the guys we decided to give all our business to over the last 50 years because giving them all our manufacturing would make them be more like us. Well, that didn't work out too good. And Israel is backing off Hezbollah. They're doing a little withdrawal kind of thing. I guess that's part of the plan or pressure from the United States because Trump wants a deal, and I think we all want a deal. So they're your top headlines. I want to talk about, I'm going to move right into a guy, Byron Donaldson. He's running for governor in Florida. He's a congressman. I like this guy. He's, listen, I'm a big fan of Ron DeSantis. I vote in Florida. Florida runs a great state. That's the bottom line. You got to live there to experience it. They got secure elections. They count your votes real quick. They have no income tax. Listen, I'm not going to tell you all the great things that are down there, but the bottom line is DeSantis has done a bang-up job. Matter of fact, I think he might put his his hat back in the ring for this election, because eventually on one show I'm going to do a breakdown of every candidate that we might see in 2028. Still a little too early to do that, but I think DeSantis might be coming for that. Byron Donaldson, congressman, he is now the heavy favorite. Polymarket's having winning the governorship of Florida by 95%. Florida's gone very red. I mean, DeSantis' first election against the guy that was found in the hotel room, the Democratic guy with drugs and the male prostitutes, he only beat him by 30,000. But the state of Florida's, I'm not going to give you all the history of it, but it has like 1.2 million Republicans registered over Democrats. That's huge. Whatever you get those type of registrations, that shows it's deep red. So Donaldson is running. I don't think anyone is. I don't see anyone beating him in the primary, and he's a big favorite. We have a clip, so let's play his clip, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about him because I think he's going to be a national player. He already is, but let's hear his clip, Jared.
The Senate sucks. I'm just going to come out and say it. They suck. This is not hard. 80% of the American people want the Save America Act to pass. Not 80% of Republicans, 80% of the American people. And the only organization that refused to act is the United States Senate. Everybody else is saying, this is common sense. We should do common sense things. Let's make sure only Americans are voting in our elections.
All right, I think
Makes sense, right?
I think we're good there. I just wanted, if you don't know him, and I'm sure you do, you've seen him around. He's a big guy, and let me tell you, he's not. When he says sucks, he's just not talking tough. He's inherently a tough guy. He's from Brooklyn. He got in trouble as a kid. He had a single mom. He had a marijuana charge. He had a bad check charge. I'm talking about like when he was 18 to 20 something. He had some problems. Then moved to Florida. Turned his life around, went to Florida State, I believe. Now, what's interesting is, basically, I find him very authentic. He's an authentic black man, just like Clarence Thomas and Ben Carson. These guys lived. Clarence Thomas grew up in a small house in Georgia with no running water. Ben Carson came from the streets of Baltimore. He had problems too as a kid. Turned out to be the greatest pediatric brain surgeon. But this Byron Donaldson, he's got that real authentic American black heritage, connected to civil rights, connected to slavery, connected to all that stuff. Unlike Kamala Harris and Obama, Obama grew up with all white people. His mother was white. He was raised by white. Kamala was really raised by her mother, who was Indian and grew up in a fancy suburb in Canada, in Montreal. So, but this guy's an authentic guy. He's the real deal. He's done some living, and I like people like that. Trump's done a lot of living. No matter that he was raised by a rich dad. His dad was a middle-class wild man with a big bank account. But these are authentic people. This guy is good. I like him. I think he's tough. I think he has. I think he's got some good prospects. I'd like to see him become the governor of Florida. Him and DeSantis, interesting. They were allies, and some. I don't want to say friends because politicians. It doesn't mean they were friends, but they were allies in Florida. But what happened is, as Donaldson was in the Congress, he supported Trump in 2024, and DeSantis didn't like that. He thought he should have been with DeSantis, probably because DeSantis did him some favors, but Donaldson thought Trump was the man, and he was right. For that election, Trump was the guy. That's 2024. And so DeSantis has not endorsed him yet. I think he will in the end, but this is politics. Even the guys you like have their, they go up against each other, and you're not loyal to me, I'm not loyal to you. But anyway, that's just how the game is played. No big deal there. Next story. All right, this one I found interesting. It's called Key Lime Air out of Denver. And this story first broke back in 2025, but it went on because it ended up in the courts. And I want to give you a little background on this Key Lime Air story out of Denver, okay? This is a small airline that flew cargo and people to small cities within 500 miles of Denver, short hops. They might have 30 people on a flight. They also, one of their divisions did cargo for UPS. And they operated out of 2 airports. This was their hub, and they flew to these little airports within 500 miles, small cities. The leftist politicians in Denver, Denver is a woke city. It's funny. I was there for a wedding about 6 or 7 years ago, and I've been to Denver before, but I spent a lot of time downtown. And I said, this is a really cool city. I remember back in 2000, young people were flocking there. But once the liberals get there and the leftists, you could just tell. I'm like, this place, as beautiful as it is, this place is headed down, and that's exactly what has happened to Denver. And I'll give you an example with this Key Lime Air, how nuts they've become out there. So the leftist politicians in Denver find out that Key Lime Air has a federal contract with ICE, a regular contract with ICE to fly illegals to different detention centers in that area. And that's what they do. But the kooky left in Denver, these are politicians on the city council. This is the mayor, the city council, and their lawyer. They decide to kind of stop Key Lime Air from accessing their Denver airports. They're in control of the gates, and they think they can now stop a legitimate business just because who they do business with. They do business with the federal government to fly illegals who have been processed, who have gone through the court system and need to be flown to a detention center for deportation. But these local politicians think they have the power. This is America, people, but they think they have the power to ban them from operating in the Denver, in these two small, in the one main airport of Denver and a smaller airport outside of Denver. They think they have the power to do that. And what they do it, but what happens, a judge comes in and says, no way, that is not legal. You cannot do that. So the only way they can stop Key Lime Airlines from flying in Denver, where they could throw somebody out of their airports or not give them access to the gates, is by finding that they have safety violations. Okay. So what happens here is now they know they can't get their way with the judge just banning them outright, which is so un-American. It's totally illegal. They'll say, you know what? They collude. They collude to say that the access to that they have safety issues. Then they start sending emails and notes how to make up safety issues that Key Lime Airline has violated. So this is completely illegal. It would be like, because they're dealing with ICE, it would be like the politicians in Denver. This is the city council. If the ICE guys go in to have coffee at a certain donut shop there, and the mayor walks in and sees them, the mayor then shuts down the donut shop because he doesn't like that they're serving ICE. That's the same thing. I know it seems like a ridiculous comparison, but that is exactly what they tried to do. The good news is they got caught. And when they tried to do this, the FAA came in and inspected them from head to toe, which is always a pain in the neck. You got the FAA coming in now to really take a look at you because these politicians are making up stuff about you. Anyway, they cleared that hurdle very easily. And they tried to manufacture safety violations against this Key Lime Air. The law, so what Key Lime Air does is they file a lawsuit and they got all the notes, the internal emails, the internal memos, and even senior airport officials who were also in collusion with city officials, and they also got caught. But here's the bottom line. Nobody has been punished yet. And city taxpayers in Denver, they had to pay a ton of money to fight all this illegal behavior in the courts. And there were 13 council members of Democrats and the mayor. I think only one was hesitant about them. All the other ones were totally on board. Totally on board. Today, I don't think anyone's been punished. I think they've lost in court. Key Lime Air is still flying out of the two Denver airports. They probably, I hope they still have their contract with ICE. But this is what all went down in Denver. And, you know, they run around saying the left, and we saw what they did to everybody in COVID. Their authoritarian streak came out. But this is their authoritarian. I'm not going to even try to pronounce it again because I'm losing it here on Saturday morning. It's with these people, you do what we say or we will bankrupt you. We will put you out of business. That's what they did in Denver. And I think this highlights from that local city and you don't need to be told this. You know this. You give them back power, you're going to get a lot more of this behavior. Found it to be a very interesting story. With that, we'll take a break and we'll be right back with our guest.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief. The best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
A diagnosis like heart failure, AFib, or valve disease requires specialized expert care. It's serious stuff, and choosing the right heart care team can make all the difference. The heart specialists at Deborah Heart and Lung Center deliver advanced diagnostics and innovative treatment options ranging from minimally invasive procedures to complex cardiac surgery. The result? Measurably better outcomes from one of the leading heart hospitals in the country. Because when it's your heart, you don't take chances. DemandDeborah.org.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag. Risk-free, you just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com, that's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now, it'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com, that's RUFFgreens.com, discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green, we make any dog food better.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah. Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is the Tom Azelby Show every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. My guest next is Alana Mastrangelo. She's a journalist for Breitbart. I like that she covers, the news and she ties it into culture. She's from, I believe she's from Cleveland, Ohio. I always like to know, for first generation Italian from Cleveland, Ohio. I always like to know where people are from, and I got to confirm this. You never know. She might have moved on from Cleveland, but I was reading her bio and said she was a first generation. Her parents were from Italy. Alana, welcome to the Tom Azelby Show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I just lost you there. Do I have
sorry.
you?
Yep. Do you hear me now?
We're breaking up a little bit. I'm going to see if Jared can grab you there. No big deal. But anyway, I'll give you a little bit more background on Alana. She went to John Carroll University in Cleveland, which is a Jesuit university, so she had to learn something there, that's for sure. I actually have a friend who went there. He's a big fan of John Carroll University, which is a small Catholic university outside of Cleveland. And Cleveland did have a very big Italian community. So I'm giving you all this background on Alana, and now I'm going to check with Jared. Do we have her?
Yeah, we have her. I don't know why you can't hear her.
I can't.
Let me just work on that, Tom.
Bring her back when you can, and I'm going to jump to another subject until we can get Alana back and figure out why we can't hear her. So I'm going to start with a controversial statement. When a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this, but I'm going to talk about the Senate run with Cory Booker versus Justin Murphy, okay? And this people are going to be like, what are you out of your mind? Yes, I always think you have to operate differently. Entrepreneurs do this all the time. And I have nothing against Justin Murphy, nothing against him. But if he had any chance of winning, I can assure you Justin Murphy would have never been the candidate because no one wanted to run. They knew it was beating Cory Booker is almost impossible. And once again, this is the problem. You got to have money to win an election in New Jersey. Justin Murphy doesn't have that. He has no star power. He does. I don't think he has any big ideas. I'm not saying he doesn't have good ideas, but he is traditional kind of Ronald Reagan. But to win in New Jersey, you need a big time disruptor. That's what you have to have, and you got to have big money. And right now, I don't think he's going up. I think it's $19 or $22 million in Booker's war chest, and Justin Murphy, I don't know, maybe he's got more money since the last report of $15,000. And my thing, this is what I know the Ronald Reagan 11th commandment was, I shall not speak ill of any fellow Republicans. But Ronald Reagan was, I don't know, almost 50 years ago. And my strategy would be this: don't run anyone against Booker. You're just wasting any resources that you have. Basically, my thing would be is to organize on social media, organize with Republicans, and there's a lot of groups out there that are fighting to take the state back, and just become an attack organization from the outside, exposing New Jersey politics. That it has become a corrupt monarchy. It's kind of like a very public social media revolution against our democratic kings. You know, they love saying no kings. Well, you just turn them on them and don't waste any resources or expose yourself with a candidate that doesn't have a chance. Take that energy. That's where you're going to get energy. When people are like, fine, we don't have a candidate in the Senate race, but we have all these people coming together. We don't have a candidate, but what we do have is we have our voices to continually organize and expose. And that would get some attention. That would get some media attention. Not a ton, but you could kind of put an eye on New Jersey by just continually pounding home the corruption. And you would have to work hard at this. People would really have to get involved with this to expose it. I think running a weak candidate against Booker, it just highlights how weak Republicans are in New Jersey. The candidate will just become a punching bag, or worse. They're just going to completely ignore the person. And then there's no benefit. There's no energy there. If they completely ignore this candidacy of Justin Murphy, there's no energy. People aren't organizing. People aren't getting excited, but people do get excited when they're going to be part of something that's looking to take people out and expose their corruption, take them out, not in the literal sense, of course. But kind of like what you saw the guy, and he didn't win, but his campaign helped. The guy out in Los Angeles, Pratt, the reality TV guy. Yeah, he lost in the end, which is not good, but he exposed a ton of what's going on in California. And let me tell you, that helps you in the governor's race. That helps you nationally. What he did out there gave exposure to all their corruption. Now, we're not going to get that from a campaign with Justin Murphy. I don't think we will. Maybe he's going to surprise us. I'm always willing to be surprised. But this would be I would take a different approach here in New Jersey. And I think energy, money, and resources that were focused on this type of movement will have much more return on investment than using any resources in the Booker Murphy race. And I know that probably, everyone's like, you got to have a candidate. I don't know. I think you got to think differently. And I would definitely try to, I would go in a different direction. A high energy populist campaign exposing Democratic politicians in New Jersey and their donors and the New Jersey political machine, including some Republicans. They'd also be up to get critiqued. And the attitude, the core message is we can't fix New Jersey till we expose it and break it. And I think organized rallies, social media exposing the cesspool of what has happened in New Jersey. Pressure, pressure, pressure. You're not going to get any pressure out of this campaign. Just because it's the same old thing. And that has nothing to do with the candidate. It's just the same old thing New Jersey has to do. You got to really step outside the box, New Jersey. Think of very creative ways to expose this corrupt machine in New Jersey. I think that's the plan. Well, but a lot of people will be, I'm out of my mind, but that's fine. That's what I can do here on radio. I can come up with some of my own crazy ideas. How'd we do it, Alana?
Let me try to get her back on here.
I really want to get her on because I like it. Well, if I don't get her on, you can go to Breitbart and you can look how she ties culture and politics together. And, she looks at celebrities and what they say. And one of them, and I don't want to get into it without her, but I might start anyway. So she wrote an article on George Conway. And I don't know, and I'm sure, well, I'll explain who he is. If he was one of those never Trumpers, he was part of the Lincoln Project that where these Republicans got together to do anything to destroy Donald Trump. Then they also allegedly gotten, like their leader or the guy that was running the organization had some kind of molestation kind of thing come up on him. But these guys kept talking, even though their leader of the Lincoln Project got caught doing something nefarious. They kept talking, but George Conway, he was married to Kellyanne Conway, which made it even. She was an advisor to Trump back in 2016 through 2020. She was well known, and she was, she was at Trump's right hand. And then, meanwhile, this Harvard lawyer, her husband, was bashing Trump every day. Eventually they got divorced. Anybody witnessing when it was going on, they were like, how did these two people stay together? But this Conway recently, and you'll still see him on MSNBC, spewing about Trump and how evil he is. He's just like an angry Harvard, well, he's a Yale lawyer, but a very angry man. And he ran for the Democratic primary in the Upper West Side of New York. Why he did it, I have no idea. It makes no sense to me. Even though he hates Trump and he's a never Trumper, people in the Upper West Side of New York are very liberal. They're like, there's no way we're going to elect this guy. But anyway, he runs, and this is what I found interesting. This was to replace Jerry Nadler. He got whomped, and he got 6% of the vote in the Democratic primary. 6% of the vote. And get a load of this. He spent $5.7 million. My first question is, who gave him that money? Who would give this guy a angry conservative Republican. I think he worked in the Bush administration. Why would he ever think he could win there? And who was dumb enough to give him $5.7 million to run? For the 6%, he paid $900 per vote for the very few people who voted for him. That's what he paid for. I don't know what the guy was thinking, and who the people that were writing the checks for him, they are suckers. Big time suckers, because they spent $5.7 million and they got 6% of the vote in a congressional run. He got slaughtered. $900 per vote. Ridiculous. We'll go to break and we'll be right back.
A plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
The events of September 11th changed our nation forever. As we approach the 25th anniversary, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT is looking to hear directly from those who experienced that day firsthand. Were you a first responder who answered the call on September 11th? Were you in New York City, Washington, or near Shanksville? Share your story as part of our special 25th anniversary broadcast, 9/11 Through the Eyes of, a collection of personal memories, reflections, and experiences from those whose lives were forever changed. If you have a first-hand account and would like to be considered for an interview, visit 1210WPHT.com. Let's remember, honor, and preserve them for future generations. Go to 1210WPHT.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
There's nothing simple about choosing an engagement ring. Most people don't know where to start. That's why they turn to Family & Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton. JR will walk you through every step. Diamonds, settings, styles, and how to choose what actually fits their budget and their partner. There's no pressure and no confusion. Just straightforward guidance and a wide selection to compare with confidence. The goal is simple. Leave knowing you made the right decision. Family & Company Jewelers in Marlton, New Jersey, South Jersey's diamond destination.
It's that time of year to address some of those nagging projects around the house you've been putting off. If replacing your home's old, drafty windows and doors is on your to-do list, then you need to call my good friends at Guida Door and Window. Guida will help you get your project started with 20% off all windows and doors and letting you start your project today with no money out of pocket. And once your new high-quality windows and doors have been expertly installed, you'll have up to 3 full years to pay them off interest-free. So you'll be able to start enjoying all the benefits of new energy-efficient windows and doors, including increased comfort level of your home and lowered monthly energy bills, while having the luxury of paying off your project interest-free for up to 36 months. This offer is for a limited time only. Restrictions apply. For full details, call Guida today to schedule a free, no-obligation in-home estimate at 877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's GoGuida.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Keeping free speech alive. Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is the Tom Azelby Show every Saturday morning, 8 to 9. Call-in number 855-839-1210. We're still fighting the good fight to see if I can get my guest from Breitbart, Alana, on. How are we doing with that, Jared? Do we have Alana again?
Alana, can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Alana. Welcome to the show. I woke up so we could get into the meat of it. I gave everyone your background, John Carroll University, Italian, Cleveland, first gen, and your parents were from Italy, correct?
Yes, my father was born there, and my mom's parents, they immigrated here and had her a year later.
Wow, okay, that's good. I always like to know where my guests are from, and I love that you're from Cleveland. I had a friend who went to John Carroll University. He still talks highly of the place. He graduated probably 20 years before you did. When I lost you, your article, George Conway, the lawyer, the never Trumper, Kellyanne Conway, I was just telling everybody how he spent all that money and to get 6% of the vote, thinking he would win in the Upper West Side of New York, which I'm very familiar with because I'm from that area originally. You got anything to add to the George Conway debacle?
Yeah, so his campaign, they spent $5.7 million just to receive a mere 6,177 votes, and that is $922 per vote, which is amusingly much more than Mike Bloomberg spent. He spent $440 per vote in the 2020 Democrat presidential primary, and this guy Conway was just running for New York's 12th district, but he came in 5th place.
Yeah. At
the end of that, so
this was my question that I presented to the audience. Who gave? I heard he put up $200,000. Who was donating money to his campaign, thinking that this old Trump-hating Republican could actually win in that stuffy Upper West Side thing? Do you know who gave him the money or not?
That I'm not sure where his donations came from. I mean, he's just been I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He's just some never Trumper. I mean, I know he was a Republican, never Trumper, involved with the Lincoln Project, I believe, and I just know him as an insufferable account on X, constantly complaining.
Yes.
But maybe, he tried, and it looks like, New Yorkers seem to not really, even if you denounce the Republican Party and, try to be one of them, it seems like they're going more extreme. They'd rather go for socialists or whoever Jerry Nadler endorses.
Yeah, no, and I get that. The reason I was so interested in who gave him all that money, I think it was one big donor who just liked him and hates Trump so much that they were, the two of them were having cigars and scotches and fantasizing that they could actually win that district in the Upper West My next person that you wrote about, and I think she, I think she is a very interesting, even entertaining. People love to hear about. They love Rosie O'Donnell updates. So, what? I know you wrote an article about her because she had come out once again. She's over in Ireland. She fled for asylum or something over there to get away from America. Give us a little background on what she is up to.
Well, yeah. So Rosie O'Donnell, she's one of my characters that I'm constantly writing about because she's always disseminating fear-mongering rants and just tirades against the president from her home in Ireland. But funny enough, she is someone who has vowed that not to return to the United States until it was quote unquote safe to do so. But she is currently in New York, last time I checked, and she has returned multiple times to the States despite fleeing to Ireland, early 2025 as Trump was being inaugurated. But most recently, in her most recent fear-mongering rhetoric that she spread on social media, she said that she thinks that the president will use an assassination attempt or a terrorist bombing to cancel this year's midterm elections.
Yeah.
Which is just wild rhetoric. I mean, we see the left is constantly spreading conspiracy theories now, even claiming that the 3 documented assassination attempts on the president, people, claiming that they're fake.
Yep.
And when they are the ones that are actually engaging in violent behavior, we've seen them, we've seen an assassination of one of our most prominent figures late last year.
Yep.
Charlie Kirk. But they nonetheless engage in this cognitive dissonance that they're unable to accept that even the notion that someone from their side could possibly be capable of such violence, and they just turn it around like, oh, whatever happens to us is fake, or, and then they're going to do more, fake whatever to cancel midterm. And we've seen these fear-mongering comments about, elections being canceled for years since Trump's been involved in politics. It's never happened. And I don't know why these people, they continue to spread this, and it just creates more division. And I thought she didn't even want to be involved in the United States. She claims to not be living here despite returning so often. And she, I don't know.
I think people say that Trump wrecked her. Trump doesn't even talk about her. But this is my thing about Rosie. She's wrecked herself, and I think she is a perfect example of someone which I think, this is just an opinion, she has unresolved childhood trauma. She lost her mom at a young age. This is a woman that had all the success that America could give you, TV show, movies. She had grabbed the American dream and lived it, and then her own psychosis, she destroyed herself. I find that type of, I don't know, and I'm just saying childhood trauma. I know she did lose her mother, but I actually think there are some mental health issues for a lot of people on the left. Like you were just saying, that they don't believe that Trump was assassinated. They don't believe, he's a king. He's a king. He fights everything in the courts. Kings don't fight anything in the courts. Kings don't allow the press to say whatever they want about you. I actually do think there is a degree of mental illness. She definitely has some. I actually think she has talked about, and I'm not sure, allegedly bipolar, but she's turned into a miserable human being who was once a person that had achieved the American dream. But let's move on to a nicer subject, the World Cup. You wrote in articles that the Europeans are declaring their love for America. What did you find out about the Europeans over here for the World Cup? What are they enjoying?
Yes, I was pleasantly surprised. Well, not surprised, it makes sense. But I've seen a lot of Europeans visiting the United States for the first time for the 2026 World Cup. They have fallen in love with small town America, and there's a slew of social media posts of Europeans from all sorts of different countries sharing their experiences. They're surprised by, establishments that we otherwise maybe we would take for granted or we wouldn't think much of, like a Target, Buc-ee's, the Container Store, Walmart.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see because usually, I feel like it's usually the other way around where we're used to people traveling overseas and coming back to share what they found in other countries. Like, the Aperol Spritz from Italy has become popular in recent years in the States. People go to Japan, they love the 7-Eleven, what they find in the 7-Elevens over there. And it's nice to see it kind of the tables turn and it flipped the other way around to where the media is always saying, how divisive this country is, and especially the media in other countries is even more, wild with their rhetoric, what they say to foreigners about the United States.
Yeah.
So for them to come here and discover all these things that they love about America, and the people from their country are seeing that, and that's nice.
Yeah.
It's something different. We haven't seen that before, and makes me want us to, host the World Cup every time.
Yeah, so we can show people how nice things are really here. And we do have a lot of Republicans who complain and whine too much about America. But because what is promoted by our media and European media, all done by the elites, that we're all ugly Americans and Donald Trump is the worst thing that ever happened, which is which is a complete fabrication. I think he's doing wonderful things, and I am a fan, and that's the bomb part of MAGA, so that's obvious. But I do want to say I love the two girls that were on Instagram telling the Americans how much they love our air conditioning in hotels. Like that they were freezing and they were loving it because they boil over in Europe. I never put that together. Did you see those two?
I did see a lot of comments about air conditioning. I go to Italy a lot to visit family. I still have family there, and that is one thing. There is no air conditioning anywhere, not in houses, unless something's more a touristy location, maybe they'll have some, but stores, anywhere you go, there's no air conditioning. So I think that is something Europeans are surprised by. It's an interesting, a new thing for them. And even just our free, because everything costs money. Like you can't get like a water at your table at a restaurant for no cost in Europe. Yeah. And so, I think that they're or you can't get free refills on, once you pay, you have to, pay again if you want another glass of Coke or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that we have that Europeans are commenting on that I think we don't even realize are little perks, day to day.
No, that's good. Alana, I got to go to break. I want everybody, if you want to find Alana Mastrangelo, you find her on Breitbart News. She ties culture to politics. She writes some really good stuff. So go check her out. Alana, sorry for the technical difficulties. We got you, and that's all that's important. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Thomas Oliver of Oliver Wellness Center. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the feet and legs.
And what are the symptoms?
The major symptoms are pain, numbness, tingling, burning, muscle cramps, coldness in the hands and feet, and problems with balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It is absolutely treatable, and we can get great results.
Call 856-347-0032 today to schedule a nerve damage screening. Your nerve damage screening will tell you if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our innovative treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe there's nothing that can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even with amputations. Call 856-347-0032. The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 856-347-0032.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was
terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
Now, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to the Tom Azelby Show here on 1210 WPHT. Shout out to the stream chat group. I do pay attention and I do enjoy the comments in the chat section. So I just wanted to let you know that. I will be on Friday afternoon, the afternoon show this coming Friday, July 3rd. I will be on from 3 to 6. I plan on having some good guests. And then I'll be back again on Saturday morning. I'm going to kind of rip through some of the things that I've been thinking about this week. The right versus the left. The right measures success by how many people who no longer need government benefits. The left measures success by how many people are receiving government benefits. So you got to think about what I just said. I'm not going to repeat it because I don't have enough time. But Dems' talking point recently. 1.2 million people lost Medicaid as soon as Trump came into office. Okay. This is why that happened, and it's great news. This is how they twist good news into bad news. That's what the left does, and they get helped by the media. During COVID, the feds told states, don't worry about eligibility for Medicaid. Keep everyone on the rolls, and anyone that wants to come on the rolls, you put them on. The numbers exploded during the COVID, what I will say, a pandemic crisis or whatever. The numbers exploded. Now, what is supposed to happen with Medicaid, they never shut it down. Biden let that keep running where they were not looking at eligibility. If you wanted to come on Medicaid, don't look at anything. Tell the states, just bring them on, bring them on. If people got jobs and no longer qualified for Medicaid, the Biden administration was like, keep them on. Don't say anything. Anyone who wants Medicaid, where basically the country is getting bankrupted by just having no rules. Anyone could get Medicaid. Don't look into anything. And for 3 years after COVID, they allowed this to go on. This is complete insanity. Trump came in and he stopped it. They were handing out people that didn't qualify. Then all that Trump did, he came in, he reinstates the eligibility standards. Then all of a sudden, they look at 1.2 million people and they boot them off because they weren't eligible. That was some rule they made to make it eligible, and then they never changed it. And then when Trump came in, he brought back sanity. You can't just be handing out benefits to people who don't deserve it and don't meet the eligibility standards. Now, what does that save? Trump's move right there saved $10 billion. Here's the bottom line, though. It's a drop in the bucket, but it's a lot of money, no doubt about it. They treat it like a drop in the bucket. But they say 50 to 100 billion is lost to fraud. In addition to what the allowing people who aren't eligible to get it, there's another 50 to 100 billion, which is paid out in Medicaid fraud. I'm not including Medicare. That's a whole other thing. And a lot of the 1.2 million people that got booted off once we started putting the standards back in, many of them were from New York and California. mostly a ton from New York and California, and they were illegal aliens on the roll. So they were getting health benefits as illegal aliens. So thank God we got someone with sanity. But you'll hear them running around and start saying, oh, my God, 1.2 million were thrown off. Yeah, they were thrown off because they didn't belong to be on there, and they let it go on for 3 years. Another thing, 2 big immigration rulings by the Supreme Court. Trump won. They can turn back asylum seekers at the border. What would happen is we would let them in. They would get a court date. They would never show. It was a disaster, a total disaster. 60% who would get their court date wouldn't show up. If they went to their court date and they were their hearing and had to come back for a court date, that could take 4 to 6 years. Supreme Court just ruled in the favor of Donald Trump. That is a huge win for Trump, and we should celebrate these wins. Too much whining and crying by Republicans. When you're winning, people want to join a winning team. They don't want to hear all the whining and crying. That ends the show. I will be back here Friday afternoon, 3 to 6 on the afternoon show. We'll see you next Saturday. Thank you.
Experience class.
WPHT.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a